institutions has generated concerns and sparked debates among citizens worried that these institutions should do more to provide quality, affordable services. One public institution that has come under the spotlight in recent weeks is NAWEC, which has come under criticism for its performance. Well, even the president is concerned and this morning made a surprise visit to NAWEC. Mamadou Jallo went with the president and now reports.
Has reached breaking point, with the Greater Banjul area experiencing erratic power supply. This has raised great concern among the public, working to see the situation return to normal as soon as possible. President Barrow had made a campaign pledge to stabilize the problem within months before eventually solving it in 3 years. Therefore, this visit will come as a welcome boost to NAWEC and its under-fire executives who are facing unprecedented pressure from an impatient public. For the president, it will allow him to see firsthand the situation on the ground and get updates on the status of ongoing works to restore services at the power plant, which is the nerve center of NAWEC.
I decided to come and visit NAWEC because, as president, it's a challenge to me. It's my top priority to make sure we solve this electricity problem. That's why I have to take time off my busy schedule to come and visit NAWEC and the management to ascertain what is going on here. But I will also encourage you to cooperate with us in the Genesis project. I have confidence in Genesis, and I think Genesis is ready to start their project immediately. And they promise me they will be doing their work 24 hours, 3 shifts, to make sure they support this government. Not partnership. They need our cooperation. They need everybody on board so that we can solve the problem together.
Speaking to reporters after a conducted tour of the facility, Mr. Barrow said he still stands more than ever his commitment to fix the electricity problems the country faces, adding that it is only a matter of time before Gambians enjoy uninterrupted power supply.
We have a roadmap, and I think that roadmap will change everything. That roadmap will solve the problem of electricity. People are very, very concerned. Yes. We are also concerned because we know it is 50 years. This electricity problem is not solved. And now we are here, we want to solve it.
This visit by the president to NAWEC will reassure Gambians that he takes their plight seriously. But they will nonetheless hope that it leads to a quick solution to the current power shortages facing their lives and livelihoods. Therefore, they will be watching keenly the outcome of the visit, the first by Mr. Barrow since he came to power. Mamadou Jallo, GRTS News.
The public is hereby informed that His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow, has declared Saturday, 30th September 2017 as public holiday throughout the Gambia in observance of the Muslim feast of Yawmul Ashura, locally known as Tamharit. His Excellency the President and the first family wish the entire Muslim Ummah a blessed Yawmul Ashura. Yawmul Ashura, the 10th day of Hijrah, the first month of the Muslim calendar, locally known as Tamharit, is observed in the Gambia with prayers. It is a moment of joy and celebration for both parents and children. Khadija Jallo went out and about to gauge the significance of the day and how it is observed.
All over commemorates. Dr. Mbaika of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council shed light on the significance of the day.
The action of Musa happened when Firauna was chasing Musa and his people. Then they reached to the sea, which they call Bahr Qalsum. And there is no way now. It is a sea, and Firauna is chasing them behind them. Even they said in the Quran, Inna la mudrakun, they will get us. Musa said, no, I am with my Lord. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him to beat his stick on the sea, and then they have their way and go. When Firauna came, he has a doubt to follow Musa, but he just see the people are going, let me just follow them. And when he entered the sea and his people, then Allah returned the sea as it is, and they all die in that day. So Musa was saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this day. This is the significance of on the 9th. And then on the 10th, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is equal to forgive all sins for full 1 year if you fasted.
Dr. Ka advised people to celebrate the day according to the teachings of the Quran and the Holy Prophet.
It's just to supplicate to Allah. You take your ablution, you pray what you need to pray, or you recite the Quran al-Karim, you recite Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Even you go and visit your neighbors, you go and visit your loved ones, you go and visit Muslims, you give charity out. This is the happiness of thanking Allah, or the ways of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not going even on the 10th night of on the 10 to Talabon, Ali Talabon. Let them at least at home reciting Quran.
We caught up with Nafisatu and Yusufa Kamara, who were happy to share with us their views about the day.
I spent this moment last year with my sister, who is no more, and I'm praying for her, for God to grant her Jannah, inshallah. And I prayed, we that have witnessed it to God give us the iman to pray to Him, inshallah.
For Ibu Bayo, his New Year resolution is to pray for the well-being of all Muslims and humanity in general. He also prayed for Allah to help the Gambia overcome her development challenges. On the occasion of Yawmul Asura, Muslims are expected to learn to forgive each other and reflect on their shortcomings in the previous years and see how best to adjust to the teachings of the Islamic faith. Khadijatu Jallow, reporting for GRTS News.
Meanwhile, in celebration of the Muslim New Year known as Yawmul Asura, the Vision Development Foundation has donated checks for $700,000 to institutions and communities, including 12 bulls to mosque committees across the country. Kumaba was at the presentation and see files in this report.
The Chief Executive Officer of Vision Development Foundation, Modu Turo Dabo, has presented checks worth over $700,000 to institutions and communities. He also donated 12 bulls to various mosque committees across the country in honor of the Muslim feast of Yawmul Asura.
It is, of course, a normal thing for us to present a gift to the needy Muslims, because these are very important feasts for Muslims and the underprivileged people.
The presentation, according to Vision Development Foundation's Public Relations Officer, Sehu Fofana, is part of a series of donations by the organization meant to improve the welfare of Gambians.
Vision Development Foundation, of course, as we all know, is a non-governmental organization, but our aims and objectives are to help human beings, to help those who are in need, and to share and care with the needy. So what we are doing today is exactly what we have been doing for the past.
Speaking at the presentation, the Imam Ratib of Sukuta, Ismail Bey, thanked the foundation for the gesture, adding that investing in the welfare of the needy is in line with Islam. Madi Jobate, whose institution was among the beneficiaries, commended the foundation. For the benefits.
We apologize for that technical problem. Still on Yawmul Ashura, a new Islamic year usually brings booming sales for food and grain merchants. But as our reporter Aissatou Jata discovered, traders at the country's liveliest market in Sarekunda are not excited about this year's trade. That low turnout for millet grain to prepare a flagship local meal that tops the highlight of festivities could be the result of high grain price spurred by last year's sparse rains.
Yawm al-Azura is an Islamic word which defines the new year in the Islamic calendar. In the Gambia, families observe the Eve by cooking a popular local dish made from small millet grains that are pounded into powder and additionally steamed to prepare what is either called futu in Mandinka or chere in Wolof Dialect. At the Sandika market area in Serekunda, a lively selling point for foodstuff and other goods, we came across one millet seller. Alhaji Sow was not so satisfied with the turnout of millet buyers this time around. The price of grain is high and that has put off many buyers. The food trader, however, blames the low turnout on poor harvest realized from last year's scarce rainfall.
Only few customers are coming compared to last year. This is because a bag of millet is expensive. A cup of millet was $45 last year, and this year it has risen to $65.
Elsewhere, one of the country's biggest market in Serekunda, vendors were desperately waiting for customers, but the turnout is low compared to last year's booming sales. This is what some food merchants told GRTS. I have been here since morning and sold nothing. Indeed, the sales are not good this year compared to last year. But we are praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for long life, good health and prosperity. In the meantime, merchants of other goods are enjoying a good day as crowds converge to shop and scout for items to make the new year a moment to remember. Gambians have been observing this tradition for many years with an exclusive meal that sees multitudes rushing home for the unique evening meal that becomes the main highlight of the day. Ushering a new year, many may not eat their favorite dish as food price increase, yet that will hardly stop people from rejoicing in the dawn of another new Islamic year. Aissatou Jatta, GRTS.
18 participants from the Gambia radio and television services were certified by GFS Business Development after completing a 5-day training in radio and television broadcasting. Ibrahim Sane reports.
The media has the potential to negatively or positively influence behaviors of the general public. Thus, the significance of a comprehensive training on how to be a responsible producer, reporter, and a presenter on radio and television. This is what the Director General of GRTS, Ibrahim Silla, has to say.
What you people have gone through in these last 4 days is part of the overall strategic agenda of GRTS to build the capacity of our people who are on the camera and those behind the microphone at the radios. We want to ensure that we have a workforce that is highly motivated, but that is also highly trained.
The training focused on ethics of professionalism, writing, selecting images, using data, and reporting on research.
We covered news, which is my forte. We covered documentary making, which is something I'm doing right now a lot. And we also talked about how to manage themselves as celebrities. And these are 3 areas which I have watched on the screen, and I have seen that I could help to share my little knowledge with them on these matters.
GFS Business Development has established relationship with numerous governmental organizations to provide them with short and long-term training support in capacity building for members of the workforce.
Last week we had a training on accounting and finance using Excel for finance and audit members, and today we're having for broadcast journalists, which has just concluded. I'd like to thank the participants for their time, for their efforts, for their contributions. Trainings are not a one-way thing. There are situations in which we learn from you and you learn from us. Fortunately for us, for this particular training, we're able to get the best. We're able to get homegrown Gambian journalists who can compete people out there, you know, in Africa and the rest of the world.
The Director of Television Programs, Fatou Sane, urged the participants to be committed to their responsibilities and come up with interesting radio and television programs. Delivering the vote of thanks, Alhaji Mbai, a participant, spoke on the importance of the training and commended the GRTS management for the initiative. He called on his colleagues to always work as a team for a better delivery. Ibrahim N. Sane, GRTS News.
Meanwhile, GRTS informs the public that its satellite transmission has been restored after it went off air due to equipment failure. Numerous tests have been conducted during the day, and viewers can now watch GRTS TV on our satellite transmission. The European Union Election Observation Mission to the Gambia has released its final report, providing a comprehensive assessment of the electoral system against the Gambia's law, as well as its regional and international commitments to democratic elections. Seni Marina has the rest of the story.
The European Union Election Observation Report underlines the importance of continuous and extensive civil education, the establishment of an accurate voter register, and the provision of timely opportunities for registration. According to the head of the EU Election Observer Team, the 31-point recommendation is aimed at improving future elections, granting the Gambian electorate the full benefit of fundamental rights and freedom.
So, the recommendation is to consider the introduction of a detailed complaints procedure with reasonable time limits for education. The procedure could regulate matters such as when, in what format, and to which institution complaints would be submitted and how they would be decided. Let me repeat again what I said earlier. Neither we nor any other observer mission are telling Gambians what they should do. These are recommendations made in line with the Gambia's international commitments for your consideration, deliberation, and reflection. Many of these recommendations have a long-term perspective, and some are quite ambitious. But we strongly believe that if implemented, they would meaningfully contribute to Gambia's democracy.
Mr. Miroslav Poch, EU Chief Election Observer, told journalists in a news conference at Kairaba Beach Hotel that elections were an important step in the Gambia's democratic transition. The report will be presented to officials of the Independent Electoral Commission, government and political parties. The EU mission chief also emphasized the importance of strengthening institutional independence of the Electoral Commission. For him, this can be achieved through establishment of inclusive mechanism for the selection and appointment of IEC chairperson and commissioners to ensure that officials enjoy security of tenure. Among other priority recommendations, the mission advised revision of legal framework for the political party registration and the institution of boundary commission that enact legislation outlining the criteria for demarcation of constituencies impartially and transparently. The EU observation mission was deployed in March 2017 following an invitation by the IEC to observe the Gambia's parliamentary election. For GRTS News, I am Seni Marena.
We will be back with more news. Stay tuned.
EcoBank now introduces a convenient and trusted way to pay for products and services using the EcoBank MasterPass QR on your EcoBank mobile app. Just tap on the menu, select Pay Merchant to scan the QR code. Enter the amount to pay followed by your PIN. The merchant receives a confirmation of your payment and you're done. Experience the ease of making payments anywhere at any time with the EcoBank MasterPass QR on your EcoBank mobile app. Download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today. For more information, visit your nearest EcoBank branch. Terms and conditions apply. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Moustapha Ji Jallo Moji di dab seeni baneex ak seeni bugga ak naani Santana yu bees yu neex a neex yooyu Santana can drink moo dàq njar mu ñu def lem ak suukar amul benn gaas amul benn rax-rax xanaa piireem a neex gi mu àndal la Santana can drink moo naan wi gën sooy teral wala terangal sa am di jàmm Santana can drink pour seen ceeti seen party yi seen barbecue sessions yi ak bépp xew-xewi jamono Santana can drink bu sedd guy am na cafka tropical am na cafka orange Santana am na cafka mango Santana am na cafka pineapple Santana am ci bépp supermarket ak marché boutique yi ci biir réew mi mun ngeen ko amee ca makkal bu mag ca Banjul 61 Lehman Street teggil tegg 422 7566 dama ne Santana bu sedd guy Santana.
Welcome back, and now to the international scene. Well, next month marks 6 years since Kenya sent troops into Somalia to fight Al-Shabaab. It's claimed plenty of success in Somali territory. But back home, Kenya has paid a high price. Westgate, Garissa, Mandera, all of them high-profile attacks that left dozens of people dead. Now Kenya is fighting a low-level campaign against the militant along its coastline. CGT and Sonny Metu traveled to the region and filed in this report.
We grew up poor and I wanted to change my life. My friend told me he had the same thoughts.
We can't show his face and we'll call him Juma, though that's not his name. Juma says he's 22, a former fighter for Al-Shabaab, and that joining the jihadist group was a very easy choice.
We were promised good money, $500 a month if we took a job. I didn't care what job.
Juma's a typical Al-Shabaab recruit, young, disillusioned, bored, and easily led. He was trained to kill, and then he came home. And he's not alone.
There are many youth being radicalized in the coast, first because of extremists who misinterpret jihad in the Quran, but we now have even non-Muslims getting involved, coming from all parts of the country.
Mombasa is the gateway to Kenya's biggest tourist attractions, but authorities say the city and the region are home to hundreds who've returned from Somalia, many of them radicalized. Many are monitored, some arrested, others occasionally shot. For a region that's so dependent on tourism, it's been a heavy blow. This is Mpeketoni, one of the major towns in Lamu County and one of the most isolated. We need a security escort like this just to visit. Residents on the coast say the government needs to rethink its strategy.
What's ailing this nation is corruption and nepotism. Despite the over 10 roadblocks you come across before reaching Lamu, if you have cash or speak the same language as the police, they let you through. No checks.
Security forces say they're making headway. They've been conducting a military campaign in this region for more than 2 years.
And in the most recent discovery is where we discovered those guys that were preparing breakfast out there. They ran away. We discovered some radicalization videos. These youths have been arraigned in court, and some of them are serving their penal term at our prisons in various parts of the country. Again, we have also encountered others trying to perpetuate some acts of terror. Our security officers have dealt with them.
The community also is being engaged, where people are encouraged to speak out against potential threats. But building trust takes a lot of time, and for now, this part of Kenya is effectively off limits. Sonny Methu, CGTN, Mombasa, Kenya.
Cameroon is once again in the spotlight over its forceful repatriation of Nigerian refugees fleeing Boko Haram. Human Rights Watch says Cameroon's military has forcefully deported as many as 100,000 people to northeastern Nigeria. CGTN's Kelechi Emekalam has more.
Forceful repatriation of refugees fleeing Boko Haram insurgency started emerging since 2015. The Human Rights Watch says the latest repatriations are among the largest in recent years. It also documented cases of torture and sexual exploitation on refugees by Cameroonian military. Many of those deported are malnourished children. UN's refugee agency, UNHCR, has repeatedly raised concerns over illegal repatriation by Cameroonian security forces with authorities of Yaoundé. But the evictions have continued despite a tripartite agreement on voluntary repatriation between Cameroon, Nigeria and the UNHCR.
There is breach in the convention relating to the protection of refugees. And when the situation happened, we did call the attention of the government of Cameroon for the respect of non-refoulement, because repatriation has to be voluntary and it has to be to areas which are safe and in dignity. So our colleagues in Cameroon, including our headquarters, there was an exchange with the government of Cameroon to call for the respect of this convention on the refugee status.
UNHCR says it has started voluntary repatriation of refugees to the northeast, but it has called on Cameroonian authorities to respect the rights of those who feel unsafe to be repatriated. Vast parts of Nigeria's northeast have remained insecure, even though the military claims Boko Haram is largely defeated. Kelechi Amekalam, CGTN Abuja, Nigeria.
We will be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Hey, Nate. Hey, you look tense. I mean, what's up?
I can't help it. The internet is way too slow.
Nate, why not join the future?
How?
Why not try this?
Wow, that was really fast. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir.
For the first time in the Gambia, QCell subscribers can now enjoy 4G LTE on their 4G enabled mobile phones
at Kaiba Avenue,
Senegambia,
Bluefoot,
Banjo,
Bakau,
and Sukuta.
This means that you can now connect faster than ever before with 4G LTE speed. QCell has a wide selection of 4G LTE mobiles, dongles, and Wi-Fi routers.
QCell's 4G LTE.
To subscribe, dial *335#.
For more information, call 111.
QCell, Sunyu Sim, Sunyu Boss.
Viewers, that brings us to the end of this newscast. But before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. His Excellency President Barrow has reiterated his government's commitment to solve the Gambia's energy problems as he toured NAWEC's power plants. Gambians are preparing to commemorate the Muslim feast of Yawmul Ashura with prayers. EU Election Observation Mission to the Gambia has released its final report at a press briefing. And Kenyans have continued to deal with the effects of the Al-Shabaab insurgency 6 years after Kenya invading Somalia. That was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Coming up next is the highlights of the President's visit to New York, which will be followed by the press conference convened by the Ministry of Information. Goodbye.
بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا